Volleyball Training Solutions would like to thank Corey Solomon and Tim Kelly at Bring It Promotions for making all the arrangements to make this video possible. A special tip of the hat to Tim for his translating skills. Enjoy.
As I was saying, just to go through staff real quick, because we got a pretty good group of people in the gym today. The guy running practice is Mencarelli. He's currently the senior national team coach for the women. As I was saying, many of the U.S. university and club coaches actually have played or coached against him the last 5 or 6 years, as he's been the junior national team coach for quite a while, and a lot of the teams that come through get to play against him. The guy here on the closest side is Luca Piriagnoli, who coached against Jim in the Youth World Championships this year. The other side is Marco Paglialunga, who was the assistant coach most recently with the Under-23 World Championship team in Mexico under Luca Cristofani. And the guy walking away from us is Davide Mazzante, who's currently the head coach of the U23 team and also in charge of what they call La Selezione, which is going around the country during the year and picking out the real young talent that they want to bring up here in this gym. So we've got some of the women's side, obviously, heavy hitters from every level. Don't worry about how it comes out of your hands, but keep it spaced. Like, look how they're up at the net and the other person's in the back corner. This is all still just warm up for the back and the hands. But he made an interesting comment a minute ago about how it's funny to them that Americans dig the ball low to the setter in defense and that we try so hard to run a quick offense, because in Europe they always just dig up high to the middle of the court and then set a nice high ball to 2 or 4 or 1. So we were discussing how there's such a difference there. He actually used Destiny Hooker as an example, saying that she doesn't want to hit a low ball, she wants to hit a high ball. So why would we try to speed things up when we have someone like that in our system? Dig with your hands.
I need a dictionary. Volleyball dictionary. Tu ce l'hai?
No, I don't think there is. Okay, he wants everyone setting the ball as high as possible. He wants the dig to be high and he wants the sets to be high. And a lot of that's just because we're warming up our back by using our legs, and also to warm up our hands and really try to push the envelope of what we can do.
Questo è un riscaldamento.
This is still just a warm-up.
Portiamo la palla molto in alto.
We're setting the ball as high as we can.
Scaldiamo la spalla con il colpo e poi, portando la palla molto in alto, prepariamo già il concetto della difesa.
Okay, we're working on getting our shoulder nice and warm by hitting it harder, and then we're working on getting the dig nice and high so someone can make a nice high set. Okay, attaccano più forte.
Sì, è troppo piano.
All right, we got to hit harder. Make sure we're hitting harder. Okay, he wants them hitting harder because the defender is supposed to actually be working on digging a ball and getting it nice and high. Everything we're doing now, he wants us digging as high as we can. Okay, what he's doing is pushing them to make sure that we're A, hitting the ball hard so it's a realistic dig, and B, getting both the defense and the defense and the set nice and high. So the point, we're obviously working through the progression here of what we talked about earlier.
Questo tipo di esercizio l'attrezzo potrebbe essere utile perché la palla deve passare al di sopra nettamente, scendere.
Okay, what he's saying is the contraption we have up is not here for this drill, but it actually ends up working out in this drill because the setter needs to get it up and over and have it drop into a hittable zone.
Non è la sua funzione principale.
Yeah, it's not the principal function of the contraption as we discussed. So again, we're working on the progression of the Italian style or the European style of making a nice high dig and everybody on the court being able to set a nice high set and putting a hittable ball up there and putting it in the hands of the hitter and making it their responsibility to do something with the ball. Okay, now we're doing the same thing just on a line dig. But as always, the goals here are to dig the ball nice and high, and then for the setter to get there with their feet under it and make a nice high set outside.
Allora, in questo lavoro, adesso è un riscaldamento, completiamo il riscaldamento e poi cominciamo a proporre l'impostazione tecnica della difesa e dell'alzata.
This is still technically a warm-up, but we're being more serious about working on the right movements for a good defense and for a good set. So as we're warmer and warmer, we're more concerned with the technical aspects of what we're doing, but we are still in a warm-up phase. A moment ago we were chatting about how funny it is that the 15 and 16-year-old Italians have some of these skills down, and our 22-year-old graduates from America are clearly not quite as comfortable with some of these skills. Io sono sicuro che l'allenatore da lei voleva così per 4 anni, senza dubbio.
Di non difendere verso la propria compagna.
Don't dig to the defender. Dig like it's in a match, so you want it right in the middle of the court. Nice and high, right in the middle of the court. So in other words, don't play the drill. There we go. Push it out there.
Keep pushing it out.
Get it in the box. How big is the box?
4 by 4?
4.5 by 4.5.
Okay.
1 meter by 1 meter.
Okay.
There you go. Nice, Zoe. Get it up there, Morgan.
L'ho alzata in bagger.
Oh, okay. The other thing we were talking, the second most important thing with the set is that if we are bump setting, we're following through.
Molto libere le spalle.
Yeah, keeping the shoulders nice and loose so that we can for sure make a nice high set, and following the set with our arms.
Alzata in palleggio. La cosa più importante. Sempre girati completamente.
Okay, he's talking about, you want me to do this too? He's talking about keeping our shoulders square to the ball. The most important thing about a set, getting our feet set and having our shoulders square. Okay, on defense, he's talking about keeping our knees bent, staying low, and then coming backwards to make sure we're getting the ball nice and high. When we're hitting, we want to hit quick and hard. It's okay if we make a mistake on some defense, but we want to be making it difficult for the defender so they're actually working on defense. And then, again, the main thing is for them to pop that ball up nice and high. Okay, so we are now working hard on hitting the ball harder and making it a little bit more difficult for the defender, not necessarily hitting it right at her. And we're noting that when we don't make a good dig that's high and in the middle of the court, that there won't be a set or an attack. So he wants them cognizant of the fact that if they don't make a nice high dig, that means that someone won't be setting it and there won't be anyone hitting it.
Spingere forte l'attacco e portare verso l'alto la difesa.
He wants it harder and harder and making sure to challenge the defender. And he finds himself constantly reminding the American girls that they need to dig it higher. So the other thing that we discussed this morning, I'll throw in right here, assuming I get it right. Back to the box that Marco was talking about, 1.5 meters square is where they want the ball to land. And the 3 different errors you can make, he has them sort of graded. So setting it outside the antenna is the worst thing that you can do. And in that case, he wants the attacker to just make sure they don't make an error. The ball needs to go in. The second error is too far off the net, which is not as bad as being outside the antenna, but still an error. But in that case, they do want the hitter to go for it and try to score. And the third error is being an inside set that doesn't quite make it there. Still an error, but the least problematic. And on that one also, he wants the hitter going up and trying to get a point. He also made the comment that a ball that's too tight is not considered an error, because at least he's giving the hitter a choice, or the setter is giving the hitter a chance to make a point.
Ecco perché io chiedo un attacco forte.
Ma hai visto come gli americani sempre tentano di mettere qua? Anche se...
Quello fa perdere molte situazioni di contrattacco.
Okay, so we're discussing the same thing again about how the Americans are not only not getting it high enough, but they're still trying really hard to push it to where the setter would be. And what they want is the ball being more just high and in the middle of the court.
Questo è quello che avevamo visto questa palla qui è una palla lì sui 6 metri, quindi non si attacca.
Okay. He's just saying some of these you get a nice dig up in the air, but it's not centered enough in the court to where a setter's going to be able to get their hands on it. And since the goal of all of this is to make sure that we're getting good sets and good swings on defense, it's important that we're thinking about that.
L'alzata è precisa quando è molto alta.
Okay, he's talking about the perfect sets, nice and high,
Deve dare il tempo di preparare.
giving the hitter a chance to prepare.
Poi abbiamo detto costruiamo un quadrato.
We've got the square up at the net, 1.5 meters by 1.5 meters. The ball needs to land in there. That's our zone.
Taglia, traduci. Tradotto lui.
Oh,
Per le ragazze, ok?
They have a box that in their mind the set has to always be really high in counterattack, and there's a box that's 4.5 feet by 4.5 feet. The ball needs to land in there, and then it's the hitter's responsibility to get a kill. Anything not in that box is the setter's fault.
Questa è
So the whole goal here is just to make sure that you're turning a dig into a point. They want to be able to get a good swing. They're worried less about scoring the point as getting a good set and a good swing.
dopo che riusciranno a capire per quale motivo la palla deve essere molto alta.
He's going to explain. Yeah, he's saying afterwards he's going to explain more why we want it so high.
Allora, facciamo attenzione. Una correzione tecnica sull'alzata in bagger. Quasi tutte stiamo andando con un bagger di questo tipo, quindi incrociando, quindi un bagger rovesciato. Cambiamo questo e andiamo con un bagger in torsione. Perché questo ci dà la possibilità di avere una migliore relazione con il bersaglio. Quindi non rovesciato in questo modo, ma in torsione. Ok? Dai. Speriamo.
I'm going to hope that one doesn't need translation. I think just from seeing it, it's okay.
Andiamo a fare lo stesso lavoro, vai.
Il lavoro di prima.
Stesso identico lavoro.
So he's got a middle and an outside on the left front. He's got a middle and a setter on this side. We're going to make sure we always have a good set two-person block.
Ok? Questa alzata non è buona,
Okay, this was not a good set. It was outside the box, and it was the worst error they could make because it was outside the antenna. Here's a nice set. There we go.
Dai, subito invadente, subito dentro. Arriva tardi. Questo non è considerato un attacco, questo è considerato una palla
Okay. Yeah, he's saying this was not considered an attack by you. That was considered a roll shot. He wants you getting up and swinging. Get up and swing.
Vai, andiamo? Dai, su. Verso l'alto, Dodo. Portala in alto la palla, portala in alto. In questo esercizio impariamo i mani out, quindi a utilizzare il colpo per fare punto contro un muro piazzato. Adesso lei ha fatto un perfetto mani out.
Okay, so that was a great block. They call it hands out, what we would say block out, or using the hands. So on this drill, since there's always going to be two people blocking and they have time to set up and make a good strong block, it's something that the hitters need to be thinking about and working on. Going high hands or hands and out.
Stiamo lavorando con la palla alta, spesso sbagliano il tempo della palla molto alta. Quindi aspettiamo, lasciamola saltare. Guardiamo.
He said you made a perfect swing. That's exactly. I didn't see the last one.
Dai.
Che hai detto?
Ho detto di guardare solo l'attaccante e saltare dopo l'attaccante perché
Stai parlando al muro.
sto parlando al
Okay,
muro.
so now he's giving some feedback to the blockers about having them wait, about how it's a really high ball, and especially when the ball is off the net, they need to be paying more attention to the hitter and blocking later in most cases so far.
Direi di alzare più vicino a Roma.
Keep it a little tighter, Morgan. Get it in the box. Okay.
Ogni tanto date il cambio alla Giulia e alla Bota. Il centrale...
Straight up. Be thinking straight up, right in the middle of the court.
No. Non deve difendere per lei, ma deve difendere...
Yeah, you're never defending to the hitter. You're defending up. Okay. So up in the middle of the court.
Lei corre e poi fa...
She'll run and get there. Don't try to pass it to her.
Dai, tira forte. Forte e lungo.
There you go. Perfect. Nice set. Now, obviously, you got to wait.
Yeah.
Hitting-wise, wait.
Oh my God.
That's what he wants you to be getting.
Dire se è meglio alzare in bugger o in palleggio.
Okay, it's another.
Adesso lei ha provato a alzare in palleggio, però era molto in ritardo e non conviene in quel caso alzare in palleggio. Conviene scegliere
Okay, he's talking about how another thing that is good about this part of the drill is that it's teaching the setters what their capacity is as far as getting there and getting their hands on it or resorting to doing a bump set. He made an example of Zoe's last play where she got there a little bit late and didn't make a great set because she couldn't get her feet under it, and on that one it would have been better for her to just make a nice bump set. So we're continuing the progression to move on to more of a 6-on-6 situation. He's breaking them up into two teams based on rules, obviously, and we'll be going on to the next step of what we've been doing. Okay, so we're starting off the same where the hitter is putting the ball in play, and then she's backing off to be ready to hit, and from there it's all live. And then we're going to play it out, always working on the same skills, making sure all digs are high, and that whoever is setting the ball is getting the next attacker a good ball.
No, mettiti in gioco.
Okay.
Allora, il contrattacco sarà come
in centrale.
il centrale.
Okay. Because if it's a free ball, if we end up in a free ball situation, he wants them always running counter attack, transition to the middle.
Ci siamo? Vai. Non attacca lei, ovviamente. Dai.
Whoa.
Vai Anna. Vai. Attenzione a non commettere errori, Grazie.
Okay, saying we don't want to be making errors here. We want to concentrate on making sure we're keeping the ball in play while also trying to score a point. Setting the bar nice and high.
Ho detto se il centrale, che è stata una difesa, il centrale si è proposto e ha giocato con il centrale, però ho detto se si propone il centrale o se non si propone il centrale o se è molto in ritardo deve giocare largo.
He was simply telling the setter that if the middle's not up in transition, that of course she can do something else. But that we want to be getting the middles up in transition if it's a free ball. He's saying he wants people looking for hands. We have 3 straight errors on balls being hit out long. We need to find hands on those, he's saying.
Sì, però tiriamo più forte sta palla sui difensori.
He wants the attack to be stronger. He thinks people are starting to slack on hitting to their teammates.
Allora, stop un attimo. Diamo un obiettivo al gioco.
We're adding an objective.
Quando l'alzata è buona, non commettiamo l'errore, cerchiamo di colpire le mani, ok? Cerchiamo di colpire le mani, quindi non una palla piazzata fuori dal campo, ma una palla tirata forte che se non colpisce le mani va fuori.
Okay, from now on, when we get a good set, we can't hit out half speed. We need to make sure we're hitting the hands, and it's okay. Go harder at hands so that if you miss, it's out by a mile. That's okay. But no more like controlling and trying to keep it in and then hitting it out. Let's go hard for the hands. He wants the defenders to be in difficulty. He wants the attacker to put them in difficulty. We were speaking this morning, he was telling us about how when a set is too tight, he doesn't see that as an error because it allows the hitter to at least go hand block out, and that's what we just saw in the last play. Kind of a textbook using the blocker's hands. Okay, leva difendere. Okay, so what we're doing here, he's going to show what he's talking about here. The outside hitter is going to tip over the block, forcing the opposite to come in and get it, and he wants area 6 to cover to be able to hit the D ball. The point being in transition, they always want to be able to get the balls all the way out to the pins. Okay, we're going to do the same thing again. You guys understand what's going on? It's just that 6 covers on a D to hit the D if the opposite has to play a tip. So she digs, she's out, the opposite comes around, or the 6 plays opposite. Of course, this might not work well in all-American systems since not all the players can hit a D ball. But if you happen to have 12 players on your team, on your very own 16-year-old team, where every one of them can shift over and hit the D ball, this is a great drill. Okay, here we see it in action live.